All right, we are in Biology, Chapter 1, Section 8. And I'm going to go down to the reading, Biotalk, the carbon cycle. You take in carbon in all the foods you eat. You return carbon dioxide to the air every time you exhale. A plant also returns carbon dioxide to the air when it uses its own sugars as a source of energy. When another plant takes in the carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, the cycle of carbon through the community is complete. In this activity, you observed what happens when this exchange of carbon dioxide does not take place. However, when the exchange does take place, the plant can use the carbon from the carbon dioxide to live and grow. Carbon dioxide is also returned to the air by decomposers. When the producers or consumers die, decomposers begin their work. As its source of energy, a decomposer uses the energy locked in the bodies of dead organisms. It uses the carbon from the bodies to build its own body. Carbon that is not used is returned to the air as carbon dioxide. Eventually, almost all the carbon that is taken in by plants during photosynthesis is returned to the air by the activity of decomposers. Oxygen cycle through photosynthesis and respiration. All right, so you have the decomposers giving off carbon dioxide through respiration. You have the plants taking in the carbon dioxide and outputting oxygen. Then you have the animals breathing the oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide. So that's how you can see it's a cycle. So where does that carbon dioxide come from? Respiration from the animals, respiration from the decomposers. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Hundreds of millions of years ago, many energy-rich plant bodies, let me move down a little bit, were buried before decomposers could get into them. When that happened, the bodies slowly changed during long periods of time. They became a source of fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Today, when these fuels are burned, energy is released. The carbon in the fuels is returned to the air as carbon dioxide. You can see that even the energy obtained from fuels is a result of photosynthesis, the process in which carbon is passed from one organism to another, then to the abiotic community, and finally back to plants, is called the carbon cycle. Let me go back up here. Okay, so that's kind of the cycle they were talking about. Well, this is the oxygen cycle. Okay. Do they show the carbon cycle? Oh, yeah, here's the carbon cycle. All right, so we'll get to that. All right. The cycling of matter. The energy from the sun flows through the ecosystem in the form of carbon bonds and organic matter. When respiration occurs, the carbon-carbon bonds are broken and energy is released. The carbon is combined with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. The energy that is released is either used by the organism. Let me scroll down so we can see this image. Let me zoom out. There we go. The energy that is released is either used by the organism to move, digest food, excrete waste, etc., or the energy may be lost as heat. In photosynthesis, energy is used to combine the carbon molecules from the carbon dioxide and oxygen is released. This is illustrated in the diagram. All the energy comes from the sun. The ultimate fate of all energy in ecosystems is to be lost as heat. Energy does not recycle. So they're saying energy comes from the sun and then it's lost as heat. However, Inorganic nutrients do recycle. They are inorganic because they do not contain carbon-carbon bonds. These inorganic nutrients include the phosphorus in your teeth, bones, and cell membranes. Also, nitrogen is found in your amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Iron is in your blood. These are just a few of the inorganic nutrients found in your body. Autotrophs obtain these inorganic nutrients from the inorganic nutrient pool. These nutrients, let me zoom in. Let me scroll down to where we are. All right. These nutrients can usually be found in the soil or water surrounding the plants or algae. These inorganic nutrients are then passed from organism to organism as one organism is consumed by another. Ultimately, all organisms die. They become detritus, food for the composers. At this stage, the last of the energy is extracted and lost as heat. The inorganic nutrients are returned to the soil or water to be taken up again. The inorganic nutrients are recycled. The energy is not. All right, so let's take a look at this. So there's a lot going on here. Okay, so the animal respiration is giving off carbon dioxide. There's some atmospheric carbon dioxide being given off. There's some burning, which is carbon dioxide. Plant respiration. You have decay of trees, decay of animals, carbon compounds. Okay. And that is your carbon cycle. Then there's exchange. Also part of the carbon cycle is exchange of CO2, which is carbon dioxide, between the atmosphere and the water. So there's carbon dioxide exchange this way. So there's a lot going on here. You'll be able to pause this to study this diagram, as well as you'll also want to study the oxygen cycle, and then you have your carbon cycle. Okay.